if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, I can't believe that Buffalo is moving their game to Detroit. And Jeff, I believe that the reason they're doing Detroit is because it just makes sense, right? They're going to be playing in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, so most likely the Bills are going to be staying there. Players will stay there, and they'll practice in Michigan for the week, and then play on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. So the reason they've chosen Detroit is they won't have to come back to Buffalo.
Wow. Yeah, I blurted that out during the sports report there. Boy, that's tough. That's going to be. They'll do a big team celebration, but I think those guys were planning on hanging out with family leading up to that game. Tuesday, Wednesday.
I would think this changes. This certainly changes everything. But you know what? The one thing that you have to say about NFL players is most of them probably are not in a situation where am I going to find the money to get my mom and my family to Detroit? They probably have the money for that, right?
They do.
Yeah. So most likely they'll be okay. And I think as you were talking about just a second ago, and I'd love to have you tell the story about the fact that this is a novelty. I think you got to look at this as a novelty. This is typical. There's a reason why everybody thinks of snow when they think of Buffalo. And really, Syracuse and Tug Hill, certainly Tug Hill is the snow capital of New York. But in terms of cities, Syracuse gets more snow than Buffalo gets. But Buffalo always gets the reputation. Why is that? Because every once in a while, they get this lake effect dump where the storm just stalls over Buffalo and they get 3 to 10 feet of snow. I mean, it's
how long ago
incredible.
Was that storm where they got
had to be
6?
I was just
5
thinking
feet?
about it. It had to be. It was more than 5 feet. Remember, people were stranded on the thruway. That's why this is being done, because of what happened 8 years ago.
Boy, was it that long ago?
I don't remember when it was. I'm just surmising it was 8 years ago.
It was 8 years ago yesterday, 2014.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What are you, an encyclopedia?
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, buddy.
See, I guess Davey actually has it in his mind. So nice.
Well, you mentioned, and there was a discussion going on my Facebook page yesterday. A group of my friends are basically like, "Hey, did you hear? Who wants to go to Detroit?"
So this is interesting because I feel like you're talking about there's a novelty about this.
Yeah, there is a cool thing, and somebody had said, one of the people who's interested in going said, "I want to go just to say that I went."
Well, and part of the reason, though, is I don't know how they're going to handle tickets, but you're saying if you want to go to watch Buffalo in Detroit, it's free.
I think that it is. That's what happened last time. Didn't they move the game last time? And wasn't it? It was basically like, hey, we're having this game. We don't want to do it in front of an empty house. This was pre-pandemic, of course.
I don't remember them ever moving a game, but maybe it has been moved. I just don't remember it.
I believe that's the case, and I can confirm that in a moment. Additionally, I want to mention we had some conversation, I think, before the show started. Fans who purchase tickets will be refunded by the Bills. Whether you got it from Ticketmaster or from the Bills, you'll be refunded.
Or if you have season tickets. I'm assuming I would imagine if you're a season ticket holder, they'll come up with some sort of a measure for you to take advantage of if you can, if you're able, if you'd like to go. So I'm reading this here. This is interesting that the Detroit Lions are loaning Ford Field to the Buffalo Bills here for Week 11. On Thursday, the NFL announced the Bills will move their game against Cleveland, and it'll be relocated to Detroit due to safety concerns in light of the ongoing weather emergency. And we'll talk about that coming up in a second. Orchard Park is set to get hit with 3 feet plus between today and Sunday. And considering that, they've moved everything to Detroit. Detroit will be in New Jersey to take on the New York Giants this weekend. So they're letting Buffalo make themselves at home just days before the two teams face off on Thanksgiving Day at the same venue. Before leaving for New Jersey, Detroit left some instructions for Buffalo. Are you ready?
Yes, fumble twice in the first half and throw 3 game-changing interceptions down the stretch.
Important numbers are by the phone. Lock up when you leave, and please don't break the tables.
That's a good one.
That is what they have left instructions. That's what they've left for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, that's a great sense of humor by Detroit.
It is.
Please don't break the tables. That's so funny.
How do you like that? Isn't that a cool story?
I just read here that the Bills were going, the NFL was going to release ticket information. Season ticket member presale for the game at Ford Field will begin at 2 p.m. Friday. General public on sale TBD. I thought these would be free tickets.
I think they're going to try to sell tickets. I mean,
well, listen,
and you know what? To be honest with you, Detroit is an easy hop if you're in Buffalo and you want to get away from the snowstorm. And it's also a holiday weekend, even though it's not. A lot of people will begin the holiday festivities on Monday next week, and family will arrive back home, that sort of thing. So there's already a bit of it's already a unique weekend.
So Smitty was absolutely right. It was 2014. The Bills were set to host the New York Jets in a Week 12 game. Buffalo got that massive storm where they got over 5 feet of snow, and they moved it to Ford Field in Detroit.
And what that storm was is it actually was just south of Buffalo, and went right down the thruway corridor. And it was a storm that just stalled over Buffalo, and it just kept snowing and snowing and snowing, inches per hour, and it lasted a couple of days, and they ended up with over 5-6 feet of snow. And the other part of this is I thought the governor was kind of going a little overboard here. She's from Rochester, so but I don't think I don't think she's going overboard. All this week they've been talking about how the storm could hit, and they're making changes, stay off the thruway. But the problem you had back then is people were stranded for days on the thruway. You were stranded in your vehicle, and they couldn't get to these people. So that's what they're trying to avoid, because certainly that would be very dangerous.
So I just want to mention, in the 2014 game, Bills-Jets, that got moved to Detroit, that was moved to a Monday game. I didn't remember that off the top of my head.
I didn't remember that either.
And it was free tickets.
That was free tickets.
That was free tickets.
Well, in this, you've got enough of advance where, if you're in Detroit, I'm assuming these will be discounted tickets they're selling. Wouldn't you want to go see this game? I mean, and it's the Bills, who could be a contender in January.
Yeah. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. And if you're in Buffalo and you don't want to deal with the snow, Detroit's not that far. Why don't you head to Detroit and go to the game?
Yeah, and I shouldn't say it's a cool thing. I certainly want everybody to be safe. But as you said, I think the appropriate word is it's a novelty thing.
There's a novelty to the whole
This doesn't happen
experience.
every year. Who knows when it'll ever happen again.
And I got to tell you, and the reason the Bills are in third place, Davey, is because of they lost to the Jets. Right. That's why they're
0-2
technically
against the division.
and they're 0-2 in the division. They lost to both the Jets and Miami. So this is all of a sudden, these next games, every game becomes important for Buffalo all of a sudden. And imagine the importance for the Buffalo Bills in December. When they play the Jets again, when they play Miami again, think about the importance of those games. Everybody's saying nothing to worry about. The Bills, all right, so they've lost a couple of games. There's really not that much to worry about, but that is unless they continue to play and blow games like they're currently blowing games.
Yeah.
And here's their next 3 games after Detroit. They're all division. New England on Thursday night, the Jets, and Miami.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. They go this Sunday in Detroit for
Then in Detroit for Thanksgiving Day.
Detroit for Thanksgiving.
Then they're off. They'll be obviously off the Thanksgiving weekend. But then.
And then December 1st, they're on Thursday Night Football.
Again, so they got 2 Thursdays in a row.
At New England. So their first home game ain't until Week 14 against the Jets on the 11th.
Yesterday, if you were watching any of the news during the day, Nancy Pelosi made a impassioned speech as she has decided not to run for leadership. Ryan Schmelz is with Fox News and is on the line right now to fill us in. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I would not be surprised if that stadium is at least 75% Bills fans. I went
agree.
to the Bills-Ravens game earlier this year, and Bills fans travel very well.
You're absolutely right. They travel, and unfortunately, much to the chagrin of the Detroit Lions, they break tables all over America. So be prepared for that to happen. And Ryan, isn't that just the coolest thing in the world? Just the fact that they're moving the game and they're going to get 5 feet of snow in Buffalo, and wow.
Yeah, no, it is insane. I really hope you guys stay safe out there, because it's going to be a pretty wild snowstorm coming your way.
Luckily, I got to tell you, as we're in central New York, so smack dab in the middle of the state, it looks like we will not get any of the snow this weekend.
Wow. Okay.
But to the north of us, so if you were to travel 30 minutes north, they're looking at feet of snow, and obviously the more northwest of Rome, which is near us, you're looking at Tug Hill, which is the snow capital of America. They are used to getting feet of snow, and
That's crazy.
yeah, it is. You're right; it's crazy. So yesterday, I listen. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you're conservative, you're liberal, it really shouldn't matter. The first female Speaker of the House yesterday, and whether you like her or you don't like her, you got to respect the fact that that woman was in control of the Democratic Party. She didn't really take any crap, if you will. Nancy Pelosi is stepping down.
No, absolutely, and it was a very historical moment, and you could just tell that everyone kind of grasped the fact of the history happening because you saw the chamber absolutely packed when she came onto the floor and gave her speech. And like you just mentioned, this is one of the most, if not the most powerful woman ever in American politics. You can maybe make an argument that Kamala Harris now is because she's the first female to be vice president, but we're talking about somebody who served as a Speaker of House under 4 different presidents in what is considered to be the third highest ranking position in all of the United States government. So this was an historical moment, no matter how you look at it.
I agree. Although Nancy Pelosi, to your comment about Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala, give me a break. That's how she would respond to that. But you're right. This is and if you think of any moments when the House had voted to impeach President Trump, do you remember when she was up there and she had the gavel, and all of a sudden, some members of the House, Democratic members, began to cheer when the vote came down, and Nancy Pelosi just looked and yelled, "Stop it!" And they all just shut up. It was unbelievable the control that woman had.
All right, and I believe when we talk about that moment, from what I understand, she had kind of made it clear to a lot of members of the Democratic caucus that they were supposed to be professional and cordial whenever the impeachment vote was going to happen, because they knew it was going to pass the House, right? Because they had the votes and they had the majority at the time. So when that vote finally came through, she kind of heard some of the rumblings and was like, nope, and kind of gave that look that every child has ever seen their mother give whenever they've misbehaved, and that's kind of what I think that kind of represented there. But yes, that kind of showed the power that she had and the ability she had to kind of control Congress, and kind of was, as we mentioned, one of the most powerful women ever in American politics.
So I really kind of went off the grid after the afternoon. So is there any talk of who will replace her for the Democrats in the minority role?
Oh, it's going to look very different from what we've been used to, because Steny Hoyer from Maryland also announced that he's going to be stepping down and not seeking an elected position in the Democratic caucus either. No. And then Jim Clyburn's not going to be going after some of the high-ranking positions too. So you're looking at a lot of new faces and a lot younger Democratic caucus too. So the favorite right now, Hakeem Jeffries from your home state, is who is the favorite to be next minority leader. So that's a name to watch there. But then also kind of pay attention to Catherine Clark from Massachusetts and Pete Aguilar from California. They'll probably all run for leadership positions at some kind of united front. That's what we're hearing on the ground here. So Hakeem Jeffries looks to be the favorite to be the next leader of the Democratic Party.
Well, I would say that whoever it is going to have to try to control. There's all this talk about the Republicans and the divide between Trump supporters and everybody else. But the same divide is in the Democratic Party. Whoever takes control is going to have to be tough enough to handle AOC and the far left craziness. That's going to be a big task.
Yeah, and there has been even reports that AOC was trying to mount or trying to recruit a primary challenger to go after Jeffries. So that's one thing to keep in mind here, is that he might not have that same relationship with the quote unquote squad that maybe Pelosi did, but that's something to be expected when, this is somebody coming into a major leadership position.
Yeah.
at a fairly young age. He's in his early 50s. So, obviously he's had leadership experience within the Democratic caucus now, but now he's going to potentially be elevated to the biggest position that the entire caucus has as a minority. So it'll be different for sure.
Is there any thought that the squad members would try to make a move here?
There's potential, and that's not something that has been ruled out. Obviously, we haven't seen too many rumblings just yet, and that might just be because they want to keep quiet as the transition phase goes on, and try not to make the leadership be a major discussion right now because they want Nancy Pelosi to have her moment. But don't be surprised if there is some type of effort. Just the amount of potential for any type of unseating there or a chance for them to mount a legitimate contest there is highly doubtful, because it looks like the Congressional Black Caucus is also going to be backing Jeffries, and he already has a lot of the backing from leadership as it is. So it looks like if there is going to be a challenge, it's not going to be one that's going to be that formidable.
And I got to say that, and I realize for the rest of us, but it doesn't seem this way. But if you really dig in, Nancy Pelosi was a moderate Democrat, and she's really what has kept the Democrats from going far to the left. And although we might look at it and say, "Wow, they've already gone far to the left." But so you can imagine the task here. But I think Jeffries would be more. I would see Jeffries left of Nancy Pelosi, and that's going to be kind of interesting, because here's the thing. When people say Republicans can't win if they're all in on Trump, it's difficult to. You can win a primary, but you can't win the general. The same thing will hold true, I think, for Democrats. That far left for most of the country is not necessarily appealing.
Well, and that's one thing to really note, too. It's a really good point that you bring up there. I think one of the things Nancy Pelosi was kind of known for being an asset when it comes to whenever a Democratic president was in office. So when you talk about Obama and Biden, she was kind of seen as an asset for getting votes and wrangling up the necessary votes and doing what's needed to make sure a bill will get all the votes from the party if, in fact, they're in leadership, but also, finding ways to negotiate whenever there's a potential for a government shutdown or the government needs to be funded. So that's probably one thing to note, is what the working relationship between Jeffries and Biden is going to be. But also, he's going to be a little bit limited to what he's going to be able to do during his first at least 2 years as a minority leader, because, Republicans are about to take control of Congress. So the ball's kind of in their court.
Let the investigations begin. It's going to be interesting. All right, Ryan, good stuff. Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you. Have a great weekend, guys.
You do the same. Thank you. A couple things to get into. They've officially announced, and we, I love when you have a story and you sit on it because they don't want it out yet, but you know what's going to happen. We have probably a lot of those that we deal with. And then you wait for somebody else to break the story, and then you can talk about it. The Aquavino move to the old Outback Steakhouse is an example of that. If you've seen, there's construction going on over there. It's now in public. I believe TV is run with it now. That Aquavino is moving their facility over to the Outback Steakhouse in New Hartford. I think that's pretty cool. That's a really nice setup over there, and there's all of that's been going on with Rozier, and over there, I don't know that they leave that facility. I think they probably do, and they have the restaurant. They moved the restaurant to New Hartford.
So I love the layout, though, in that building. That is a beautiful building.
Well, what I've always said that, if you want to open a restaurant, go into, Red Lobster, go into Olive Garden, go into Outback Steakhouse, just start taking pictures of their design, because they've paid millions of dollars to study how people are comfortable inside a restaurant. Right?
That's a good point, yeah.
Unlike the rest of us, if you open a local restaurant from scratch, we're just trying to figure out what we would do. Well, this goes here, this goes there. In these chains, They've spent millions of dollars in research to determine how people are subconsciously happy inside a restaurant. And there's something to be said for that. How does a restaurant flow properly? What's best for the waitresses? What's best for the kitchen staff? I think that's all worked on when a chain opens a restaurant. And why not take advantage of it? So they're walking into a really well set up facility. And I think that's probably pretty smart.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, we wish them the best of luck.
They've announced that Utica's New Year's Eve will happen downtown once again. Their partnership with Bank of Utica, they'll be moving in there. There's also a really cool project coming to downtown Utica that is going to be announced, today, kind of. It's announced now, but we have Mark Mojave in, who is the owner of Gerber's, if you recall. He's doing something really, really cool. And we'll have him in to talk about it coming up in a few minutes. Also this morning, Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend. If you want something to do, Dan Guerin is the headlining comedian. We'll speak to him on the phone in just a bit. And so much more to get into, including snow in western New York. A lot of it. And we'll break and come right back. 6:43. It's Friday morning on WIBX.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Open wide. Let me see that smile.
There's a back-to-school braces boom at Doc Kelly's office.
Can you hold on for a sec? Can someone bring me more brackets?
She needs to realign her staffing plan with more registered dental assistants.
Can you reorder the rubber bands in red?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
William Mattar, for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Mattar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
Get your home ready for the holidays with Adirondack Home Furniture. With free local delivery, sale prices on in-stock items and special orders, and a knowledgeable staff, your home will be ready for the holidays in no time. Adirondack Home Furniture has a large line of quality, USA-made furniture from top manufacturers. Create your dream home for the holidays and beyond with Adirondack Home Furniture. Entertaining this year? We'll entertain in style with a beautiful top recliners and lift chairs in stock. Stop in today to Adirondack Home Furniture, and get your home ready for the holidays. Living rooms, dining room. Find everything on your holiday list at Adirondack Home Furniture. Riverside Center in North Utica, or browse our inventory online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Adirondack Home Furniture, helping you get your home ready for the holidays.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone from Harley-Davidson of Utica and now Power Sports of Utica, formerly DDS Motorsports. We have a large selection of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. We have BRPs, Can-Am, Skidoo, Lynx, all Kawasaki, CF Moto, and Yamaha watercraft. All on-road and off-road motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, watercraft, snowmobiles, apparel, accessories, parts, and service, all under one roof. Central New York's biggest all-season toy store.
Go green and save green right now at City Suburban. There has never been a better way to heat and cool your home than with a new heat pump system from City Suburban. They provide energy-efficient comfort year-round, offer room-by-room temperature control, and are 40% more efficient than conventional systems. And the best part is right now, you can save up to $9,000 in rebates with the New York State Clean Heat Program. Go green and make the switch today. And as always, receive City Suburban POMG. That's peace of mind guaranteed.
This is Chris from City Suburban on Route 233 in Westmoreland. There's never been a better time to upgrade your system than right now. You can save up to $9,000 in rebates, make your home more energy efficient for years to come, and as always, receive our 100% POMG. That's peace of mind guaranteed. Take advantage of this amazing offer. Call us today at 853-3899. That's 853-3899. Or visit us at citysuburban.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
So I was going to try to get, for Christmas to get my wife tickets to Taylor Swift. I think she was, in the spring, she'll be in like, was she the one? She was country, right? Before she was pop.
Her number one hit song when she was country was Tim McGraw.
Okay. With Tim McGraw?
No, Tim McGraw.
Was the name of the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I don't. Who are we talking about again?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, I just know she's really cute, but I don't know if genres.
Well, you don't want to mess with her, like date her and do something bad because you'll end up in a song. So I was thinking about getting, this would be cool because my wife is a big fan, and we'd leave town, right? You'd spend the weekend and go see a show, but the prices are unbelievable, and then the disaster that has been Ticketmaster. This tour is so big that it shut down Ticketmaster, and they've basically suspended all sales on tickets right now. I mean, people are going nuts. A guy had taped actually, this was a daughter taping her father scrolling through his phone to see if he was selected for pre-sale of Taylor Swift tickets, and listen to how the dad. This is the dad. Listen to how the dad reacted. Here we go. Yeah, he's definitely a Taylor Swift fan, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you just would. I just so you know that I
That was somebody's dad?
I would not react that way. Yes, that was somebody's dad. But people are going nuts over these tickets, and it got so bad. Everything shut down. If people are angry and yelling and screaming, it's just a whole big mess to get tickets to see Taylor Swift.
So what was the deal? I know there's Ticketmaster's in some trouble.
I think they got overwhelmed. The demand was so high that it shut everything down. They couldn't handle it.
I thought maybe because they were under investigation for what? Aren't they being sued for antitrust lawsuit or something?
You're talking about a class action lawsuit.
When one company runs everything.
A monopoly?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Basically, they're facing a monopoly lawsuit, which I thought was weird. But I thought it was because of that. Maybe they weren't allowed to sell tickets.
I always love people looking at me especially the younger people looking when I say.
So shut down. So how did that guy get tickets?
Their system. I don't. He received you, and I signed up. I'm thinking I'm thinking I'm going to sign up. There's a lottery. And if you get selected, I'll be. If you get selected, I'll be. Get selected, I'll be able. Get selected, I'll be able. That selected, I'll be able. That'll elected, I'll be able. That'll be a. I'll be able. That'll be a. That'll be a surprise. Never expected. And I think they were playing. I was interested in the show in New Jersey, so it would be like a weekend trip in May. But number one, the tickets are extremely expensive.
Like, what are we talking?
You're talking in the hundreds of dollars if you want to get anything that's close. So, and when I say close, like the 30th row or something.
And it's like what, $300, $500, $900?
You're talking like $300+ for a ticket. Yeah, I hit the lottery. In the lottery, right? Right.
Hopefully, my son doesn't become a Taylor Swift fan.
I got to tell you that. Let's see, a couple things to get into. You mentioned the most hated side dish on Thanksgiving dinner for New Yorkers. I completely disagree.
Same here. I love that stuff.
So there's two kinds of cranberry sauce, right?
Yeah.
There's the homemade cranberry sauce that you make from, which is really easy to make, right? You add water, you add sugar, you add the cranberries, the bag of cranberries, and then you just boil it down, and you can add all sorts of, and it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Then there's the can of cranberry sauce.
Right, that's my go-to.
And if you're, I'm just going to give some advice. If you're in a situation where you feel cranberry sauce is not for you, try it the way I eat it, and my brothers eat it, and my kids eat it, and that is on it. Good. It is the best. And listen, why would you put Hellman's mayonnaise on it? So, because cranberry sauce in a can is oftentimes used to put on top of a turkey sandwich. And what do you put on a turkey sandwich? Mayonnaise. And so you're skipping the turkey, the bread, the salt and the pepper, and you're just adding mayonnaise to the cranberry sauce. I only, before you say no and you make that face that you're making, Jeff, try it.
So, okay, two things. One, I'm told our YouTube is on a repeat mode right now. I don't know if there's anything that we can do. The second thing is that cranberry sauce. I think if you hate cranberry sauce, like, who doesn't like cranberries? I mean, are they bad tasting? It's just like a sweet fruit that tastes good. So to me, it would have to be a texture issue. And I think if you slathered mayonnaise on top of a canned cranberry sauce, that only contributes to the texture issue. Right?
You probably don't even like the cranberry sauce in a can.
Yeah, that's a good point. 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 I kind of went ugh when you said that, but you're right. I started a tradition a couple of years ago. Everybody lines up at the house, and everybody's getting their first helping, right? And everyone talks about, the leftover turkey sandwiches are great. We got football games going on Thursday. I don't play around. I line up with 2 pieces of bread covered in mayonnaise and cranberry sauce, and I make a sandwich there.
So you would not be that far off with cranberry sauce and mayonnaise.
Right. I go first run turkey.
Pretty cool. Listen, this has not been done since Mohawk Airlines did this, but it's really cool. Frontier Airlines is launching an all-you-can-fly annual pass for $599. Now, this was done in the 1960s by Mohawk Air. And it was kind of a cool thing. You paid one price, and you were able to fly wherever you needed to go.
Wow.
And that's what Frontier is launching, an all-you-can-fly pass annually. It's $599. Here's Sandra McLemore talking about who the pass would work best for and some of the restrictions that are actually on it. Here we go.
It doesn't suit you if you are going to a wedding, to a childbirth, to a conference, to a funeral, to a concert. If you have to be there at a very set time, this is not for you, because the reservation can only be made the day before you travel. This is good for domestic and Puerto Rico.
This is great if you do a lot of traveling and you could go remote at work if you needed to. You have to fly because of work. You're all over the place. You buy one $599 ticket, and you get to fly uncomfortably anywhere you want to go all year long. And when I say uncomfortably, because that's Frontier, and a lot of people are willing to fly uncomfortably because the price of Frontier is so good.
I just wonder if $599, even if you don't travel that often.
That's unbelievable.
Right? If you're only doing three trips a year.
You could do 2 trips a year, and you probably still save money.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so.
Or at the very least, you would equal, certainly 3 trips, you're saving money.
Yeah, but it isn't uncomfortable. And again, they say you can't book in advance. You got to book the day before. It's only based on what's available, so you might be late.
Isn't it interesting, though, that Mohawk Airlines, which ended up having its corporate headquarters at one point in Oriskany, that was their big thing back in the 60s, and here we are in 2022, and there's an airline running with the same thing that didn't work back then.
It only took...
Think about it, right? It's like, it didn't work then, but I bet it'll work now.
This didn't work 60 years ago, but times have changed.
A new study shows the sounds that Americans love to hear most. The sounds that Americans love to hear most. Coming in third is this sound. The sounds Americans love to hear most. Number 3. Yeah, coming in third is the sound of a baby laughing. Sound of a baby laughing.
You're going to make me play from when he was like 9 months old.
Number 2, coming in second is singing. People singing. And the number 1 sound that people love to hear most is a rainstorm, which is why a lot of people will sleep to a rainstorm.
Love a rainstorm. Yeah. I like literally go out in my sunroom and then like cancel afternoon plans. I'm like, there's a major thunder and lightning storm coming. I love it.
I think a lot of people do, unless it's causing damage to your home.
Correct.
A new study reveals the sounds that Americans hate to hear most. Are you ready? Hate to hear most. Coming in third is the sound of someone talking loudly. Someone talking loudly. Second is chewing. This is a big one for you. Chewing with their mouth open.
That's Andrew. That was an Andrew thing.
Andrew was close to vomiting when he would hear it. Oh, my God.
Andrew and I lived together for a while.
And
Andrew said to me, he had made a huge bowl of popcorn. And I said, hey, dude, can I get some of your popcorn? And he goes, only if you promise to eat it in the other room.
You're right. He hated the fact that you chewed with your mouth open.
No, I just chewed loudly. I don't chew with my mouth open.
And the sound people hate to hear most is...
Who are these people? I'm having difficulty controlling the volume of my voice.
That's a yeller. That's the chewing with your mouth open. And here's the number 1 worst sound. Chalkboard and chalk. There you go. Got a break. WIBX, Utica, Rome.
Another House seat. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They now have 212 with 5 races undecided. Not enough for the majority. So with Republicans taking over in the next Congress, Nancy Pelosi will be out as Speaker.
For me, the hours come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect.
Democrats left the House chamber emotional after hearing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announce she will not run for another term as Democratic leader.
Follow her lead. Follow her lead. Her wise, compassionate lead.
That was the advice from Pennsylvania Democrat Madeline Dean for whoever succeeds Pelosi as the top House Democrat.
Fox's Jared Halpern. North Korea continues its record barrage of missile tests, launching another intercontinental ballistic missile this time, capable of reaching the U.S., condemned by Vice President Harris at an Asian Economic Summit in Thailand.
Together, the countries represented here will continue to urge North Korea to commit to serious and sustained diplomacy.
There's an update on an infamous killing linked to a controversial Saudi prince.
Despite President Biden's campaign vow to make Saudi Arabia a, quote,